Greetings, everybody, and welcome here to Prog Monster. My name is Murph. I am the host of this show, a show dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. So we're back at the beginning of the week with an episode of This Week. And what This Week is a show that talks about what is going to be on the channel this week and in the future. Also talk a little bit sometimes about what happened or what's gone on in the past. There will be a little brief talk about that today, and now it's gone out of my mind. My alleged mind, that is. So we'll talk about what's happening, and then maybe to get back to what's happened in the past. So anyways, we have only the 7 shows this week. There'll be no series for the month of October. I will be doing several mini-series, at least 2 for sure, maybe possibly a third one, depending on time, of course. So the first show of the week, of course, is this one, which you're witnessing right now. And that just basically is the one that talks about everything we're doing. So the second show comes out later tonight. It's called Ben's Album Challenge. We've been doing this show now for a long time now, I think over a year anyways, at least. Ben has given me an album by one of the 2 vocalists from ABBA, Frida in this case. Frida's pop album, Something Going On, is the album we're going to be doing. It was released in 1982. It has been somewhat regarded as being their best solo album by any members of the band. She has a great voice, of course. So I will be reviewing that album tonight. On Ben's Album Challenge. So Monday night's look back at a classic rock album is going to feature this one. Yeah, this one. Sorry, it's backwards. I forgot to switch the screen. Anyways, it's Ozzy Osbourne's Blizzard of Oz. This was an album that kind of exploded out of the gate for me. I had pretty much written Ozzy off as gone from Sabbath and wasn't thinking about him anymore. And then this album came out and it's an absolute killer. It hasn't made masterpiece status, and I think the reason it hasn't made that with me is because I owned the vinyl copy until I moved away, gave it to my sister, so it's gone. And I never replaced it on any kind of thing until this channel started. So about a year ago I replaced it. So it's now getting its chance to go for that status. But anyways, we'll be doing that album on Monday night's look back at a classic rock album. This week's metal, which is its turn this week. This is a show that alternates with what's new. And what's new went last week, so it's this metal this week. I've decided to tackle the 13 or so discography of Fate's Warning, and I do have this one to show you, and we'll be doing that one on Tuesday night for the metal show. I'll be talking about the band Fate's Warning and their 13 studio discography, and I may talk about some of their live stuff and what they're currently doing and the normal stuff that I do for the show for metal. So hopefully you can turn in for that. On Thursday night, of course, I skipped a day there. Wednesday night, of course, we're doing our favorites. Ben has suggested a topic which I liked, and so I'm going to attempt to do this for that show on Wednesday, which is my top 10 one-hit wonders by Canadian bands. So the band had one hit. It may have some other songs they know, but this is basically a one-hit wonder. And so I like the idea of doing this because there's quite a few of those kind of bands that I absolutely like, and they do have those big one hits. So I'm going to be doing that this Wednesday. The Forward Champion will run this week. I still have not picked a challenger because I'm not sure how this is going to go. If Gentle Giant wins it, there will be 2 new challengers. And if Gentle Giant loses it and are out, then the the Who's next album will go up against one of the two challengers. I have a couple of albums in mind, so hopefully we will see what happens. And then, of course, the last show of the week is Monster Hits, and we're doing 1982 this week. Yeah, the thing now has come back to me. Last week, a little bit of a faux pas. For some reason, I recorded the Monster Hits and set it to release Friday night, and for some reason it came out late Thursday night, and so I must have done something weird. I may have put it to come out at 1 a.m. for some dumb reason on the Friday morning, or it didn't have a time, or I'm not sure what happened. But anyways, it came out late on a Thursday night, like very late, or maybe early on the Friday morning, I'm not sure. But at any rate, it did go out. It wasn't really where it was supposed to be, which was last night. But we'll try to get it straight this week. Okay, and so those are the shows that I'm doing for this week. I do have some one-offs that I may do, and that, of course, will entirely depend on how much time it takes me to do the metal, because the metal one, listening to all those albums and doing a history, kind of a little bit of a histrionics of the band, that takes a ton of time. And if the time is not permitting, I won't do any of these other one-offs that I do once in a while. I do have a couple in mind that I will be doing. As for the future, so there's no series this month because I want time to reorganize and restructure some of these shows and have time to prepare them. These things take time. Otherwise, if you just keep throwing things in there, then that's what you're doing. You're just throwing things in there. You're not really spending too much time on it, so it's not going to sound that great. And so I don't want to do that. So I have a couple of mini-series in mind for this month, at least two anyways. One will be a Hard Rock 7. So I chose to do a Big Six last month when I did the Big Six that are commonly referred to as the Big Six on YouTube channel and by people in general. They weren't necessarily my Big Six. In fact, only about half of them would have been on my Big Six, maybe 4 of them. The others would have been replaced by a couple of other bands, but I took a little bit of heat, like, why would you have this band in there? Well, I didn't make it up. I was just talking about them. I didn't make up the Big Six. The Big Six are the Big Six. If you want to have a different Big Six, you're more than welcome to have it. But those are the ones that were talked about. It's kind of like the Big Four in metal. We all know that they're Anthrax, Metallica, Megadeth, and Slayer. But would they be my Big Four? Probably not. But that's the ones that are commonly known of. But I'm not going to do them anyways because I don't know enough about them, so there'd be no point to doing it. So the other, so the Hard Rock 7 are going to be, I've got 13 bands here that I'm considering for that. And now it's not really much of a consideration anymore since I've pretty much chosen these 7. I'm going to pick 7 hard rock bands that I think are the big hard rock bands, like the ones that are the most influential, have had the biggest impact. Not necessarily my favorites, but have had the biggest impacts and are among the most well-known hard rock bands and are very influential to the hard rock genre in general, as well as other genres. Several of them have been instrumental. Some genres you wouldn't think tied them together, but they have. So we're going to do that Hard Rock 7. And the other one I'm going to do is called 4 bands that have serious issues. And these are bands I like. There are lots of bands that have serious issues, but I'm going to talk about the 4 that I like and why they have these serious issues and what the chances are that they will mend and these bands might do other stuff in the future with these members all together. I know that Journey has worked on doing I think it's a tour with some of the members from the past and some of the members from the present, and they're having great deals of difficulty. And for me, I wonder why bands bother. Like, why bother doing that? I know lots of fans out there would like to see it. I get that part. But the only reason I can think of is money. They're not doing it because they love each other or because they think that the album or whatever they're going to do is going to create something unique or anything. They just want the money. So I applaud the bands that don't get back together simply for the money. And there are a few of them that do that. It would be nice that they got back together for the fans, I guess. There's enough fans out there that want them. But in retrospect, if me and my wife had been really popular with everybody in our neighborhood and we broke up and had been separated for a long time, and then everybody was saying, oh, you got to get back together, we need you to be part of that group again. Well, I'm not going to get back together with my wife just so my group of friends can be happy. So I understand why some bands don't get back together, but I'm not going to get into that too much right now. That will be an episode I will be doing sometime this month. I think they may go first or they may go second. I'm not sure, but I'll be doing at least 2 mini-series. The Hard Rock 7 and there's 4 bands that have serious issues. There's a couple of other mini-series I want to do as well. And depending on time and everything, I may squeeze a third one in. I have one that I want to do on Black Sabbath's masterpiece albums, according to me, because the ones I pick may not be masterpiece albums to you. In fact, the ones I pick you may not like at all. And you may be upset that there's some that aren't in that list that you think should be in that list. And I should like them, whether I like them or not. But that isn't going to happen. So I will pick the 7 that I like. There are 7 of them. And I will do a series on each of those 7 albums from Black Sabbath. And then the other series that I may or may not do, and I'm probably not going to do all 4 of these series, but I'll probably space them out a bit. The other one is called the Heavy Metal Giants 7. I'm going to pick 7 heavy metal bands that I think are like the hard rock bands, the most influential, the most well-known, the ones with that have created something in the genre that allowed for other bands to go forth. All kinds of reasons for that, but we'll get into that when we get to the series. So I'm going to do 2 of these 4 series, more likely the hard rock one and the bands with the serious issues. Those are likely the 2 I'm going to do this month. The other 2, they may have to wait a bit, but I have some other ones that I'm going to think about as well. I had another one, but it went out the window because I didn't write it down. So I'll have to try to remember it. And, if you have any suggestions of what you'd like to see or hear, and as long as it's something that interests me, because there's no point in me doing the 7 best disco bands of all time, because this is not a disco station. I do not like disco music. So what would be the point? I would have a ton of research to even discover who they are. So, try to stick within the realms that we do here. Hard rock, heavy metal, some psychedelic rock music in general, of course, progressive rock, all that kind of stuff. So having said all that, that's what's upcoming. And the upcoming, I will be doing, I'm pretty sure I'll be doing a series for the month of November. I have 2 things in mind. I'm not quite sure which way I want to go. It'll either be a year, and the year, I already have the year in mind, or it will be a genre thing. I'm not sure which one yet. So as it gets closer, we'll have more of this week's. So as it gets closer, you'll be made aware of it. And if it's something you're interested in, I'd love to have you watch. That's what it's all about. And you guys watch and you tell me stuff that I don't know. And then that makes it that much more interesting. Or you bring up stuff that I didn't know that helped me find albums that I didn't know existed. And that is also very good. And it's good for you too, because you learn from me, I learn from you. It's a 2-way street. Anyways, that's it for this week. I hope to see you all at episodes this week. Tonight's will be the first. Sunday night's Ben's album challenge. Frida is the album from Annie Frid And I'm going to screw up her name. I can't remember her last name. I had it and then it's gone. But anyways, Frida is one of the two singers from ABBA, and her solo album, her third solo album actually, Something Going On from 1982. So hope to see you for that tonight, and have yourself a good night. Please make your comments below, hit the like button, subscribe over here on the side, and we will see you then. Take care.